Let's generate some poems with today's AI project. How about time travel? Past and future fuse, chronology crumbling, time secrets we lose. Or maybe IKEA. Swedish labyrinth, shelves beckon, secrets hidden, meatballs fuel the hunt. For cost reasons, I'm not going to keep this app online because AI is expensive. But if you want to run it yourself or want to build something similar, all of the code from this project is available on GitHub, link in the description. This is Code and Stuff, a place where I write code and do stuff. Today's project is a simple Next.js app to generate a haiku, a poem containing 3 lines with 5, 7, and 5 syllables. My goal is to demonstrate how to use system prompts to shape behavior, and to use the AI NPM package to handle streaming responses from OpenAI. Let's get coding. The first step is to create a new project with the command npx create next app haiku GPT. From here, I'm going to select the default options. With that in place, let's open it up in the editor. Let's install 2 node modules, Tailwind Forms and AI. Tailwind Forms is a plugin that helps style form elements like text areas if you use Tailwind CSS for your styling. After installing it, we have to go into tailwind.config and require Tailwind CSS forms. That's all we need to do for that one. Now the AI package is the star of the show. Released by Vercel a few months ago, this package simplifies some of the trickier parts of integrating with streaming AI APIs. One more thing, I'm going to put an OpenAI API key in my .env.local file. It looks something like this, but with a real key. With the dependencies out of the way, let's start a local server. npm run dev. And that'll start a server on localhost 3000. Now, one feature in VS Code that a lot of people don't know about is the simple browser. You can give it a URL, and it'll open up a web view. In this case, we've opened up the homepage of our next app. The code for that is in page.tsx. But before we get to the page, let's add an API endpoint that's going to generate the haikus. Next.js constructs its routes from the directory structure, so let's put that API endpoint at app/api/haiku/route.js. In this file, let's export an async function called get, which takes a request. And for now, let's just return a new response, hello world. Now over here in our browser, we can go to api/haiku and see our hello world response. For the actual GPT stuff, I've already created a system prompt. It reads that you are a creative writer who only responds in a haiku. The user's input is to be used as inspiration for a haiku. Haikus are only valid when they follow the form 575. Only respond in a haiku and don't provide any additional commentary or answer any direct questions. With this in place, let's grab the OpenAI library, as well as the OpenAI stream and streaming text response objects from the AI package. The messages that we're going to give the model to start out with are going to be hard-coded. For our prompt, let's just use I like coffee. And then for the messages, let's use our system prompt and then our user prompt. Now let's pass these into OpenAI. For this, I'm going to use the GPT-3.5 turbo model with stream set to true, a temperature of 1.3. A low temperature makes results very predictable and dull, while high temperatures make the model creative and unpredictable. 1.3 is just slightly higher than the default of 1 and gives it the creativity that I'm looking for. Now we can replace our hard-coded hello world response with an OpenAI stream and then a streaming text response. Let's give it a try. Bitter yet so sweet, hot coffee, my daily charm, awake me to life. Now this is fun and all, but I want to allow the user to provide custom inspiration for the haiku. I don't want it to just always be about coffee. To do this, I'm going to change the endpoint to be a post. Then I'm going to obtain a prompt value from the request body. And this is an async function, so we've got to await it. And now the endpoint is prepared for a front end. So let's go back to that front end and change our browser to open that page up. I'm going to take this default homepage and delete everything. When I'm building things like this, I want to make it work and then make it pretty. So it's going to start out pretty ugly. Now that we've got this empty page, we're going to need a form, a text input, a button, and an output div. So let's start out with that form. Then we're going to have this input, a button of type submit, and then a div for the output. And here I'll hard code the output, some haiku. And these weird stripes are coming from the default CSS that we don't really need anymore. So let's go into globals.css and just delete everything but tailwind. And now we've got something truly ugly. So let's make it functional. So all of these are going to be wired up to the use completion hook from the AI package. Let's import it. Import use completion from AI/React. So first we're going to call the hook. We're going to give it an API path of API Haiku. This hook returns an object with a bunch of functionality, and the docs are pretty good. In this case, I already know that I want input, completion, handle submit, and handle input change. All right, so this output is actually going to be completion now. This text area needs a on change of handle input change. And let's also give it a value of input. And finally, in the form, let's do an on submit equals handle submit. All right, we're getting some error, and I think this has to do with this not being a client-only page. Yeah, that cleared it up. Now that we've got this ugly form wired up, let's give it a try. How about Wombat? Hey, it worked. So let's change this form and make it so that it doesn't look so terrible. Most of this is going to come from Tailwind UI, which is a package of pre-built components from the company behind Tailwind. And just like that, we have something that looks a little bit better. Now, since it's written in Next.js, it can be deployed to Vercel very easily. I'll add a link to Vercel's deployment instructions in the description. Once it's running online, it'll look something like this, and we can start saying things like, how to use a toaster. Bread placed with care, pull the lever and await, toasty delight share. In summary, it's really easy to integrate AI models in a React app with the AI package on NPM. Let me know what you end up coming up with in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your feedback will help me share more things in the future. In fact, this video was suggested by a viewer, and you could be next. This has been Code and Stuff. Thank you for watching.